So hey guys, finally Cricbucks is back, and since you know I'm wearing a test jersey, so you know why we are here. And our friend Alex is here to talk about dominating England performance, how they dominated in India, and pretty much it was a close fought series. Though the score doesn't say it, but still it was very close fought series. We got a shock in the first test, and then pretty much it was 4-1, and we discovered too many youngsters in the series. So I will straight up go to Alex, and I want to ask Alex, do you still agree with Bazball or no?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think what this series showed is like a lot of individual errors need to be changed. But I think there were some real positives to come out of the test series. It's obviously unfortunate to go down 4-1, and India just had far too much class. Did I think the guys did really well to win the first test. It was really similar to the last time we were in India, where we won the first test. Everyone gets very excited. There's a really good performance in the first test, and then India just kind of take over from there, and then England just want to get home. So yeah, it's probably the biggest test that Bazball has had. Obviously not a good performance, but yeah, I think he'll be hanging around for a while. So hopefully next time we play you guys, we've learned some lessons. Um, but yeah, there's some good performances in there. Look, I think 4-1, probably the right outcome, but fine margins. It could have been maybe 3-2. It could have been, if we're getting very very extreme, maybe they could have won it if they performed a bit better in some key moments. But look, 4-1's probably fair.
Yeah, I guess Nas and Atherton were discussing about the thing, and they were saying last series there was a struggling captain, and they were like they were looking for the right balance, and they lost 3-1. This time they had the perfect team, inspired captain, inspired coach, and they lost 4-1. So they were saying that how do we react to this?
Yeah.
So anyways, like I'll start
Fair
with
point.
you, Karan. How do you feel about basketball now?
Yeah, I think you summed up well, first of all, by saying that this was a hard fought series. I don't think it was like those, India just clean swept. People tend to remember what happened just recently, which is the this test. I agree, India did play really well in this test, but because England was already down and under, right? But to coming back to basketball, I think, see, in every sports, we have seen like some people or some coaches or some teams come up with certain strategies, and those strategies work in certain conditions, and they have to adapt when they go travel to different scenarios and countries and so forth. I think basketball is a very good one of those examples of those strategies. It has worked really well in certain situations. It's about them understanding their game and adapting to the new situations of how this basketball will work in other conditions. I think basketball is just about making sure you dominate the game when it is required. So there's a very thin line between being brave and being a little stupid as well. Sorry, I'm using this word, but that's what adaptability is. And if they adopt to these from these learnings, I think basketball is here to stay.
Yeah, stupid. You should not say sorry about that because but just don't be cocky. That's what I
No,
want. And the second,
no, no.
and the
Yeah.
thing is, me and Abhishek we were discussing before this series, and then I'll pass to Abhishek. I was telling Abhishek the same thing. The reason, the problem is, baseball has worked in England and Pakistan and New Zealand, right? But the variation of day one pitch and day 4-5 pitch in India is way more than any other place.
Right.
And same thing will happen with Sri Lanka too. If Sri Lanka would have been like a very competitive team like Sangakkara, Jayawardene, Muralidharan, that period, it's the same. So first day and fifth day is totally different pitches. So that's why baseball, in my opinion, I thought that baseball won't work because if they try to do this in like third or fourth inning, this won't work.
Yeah.
So what are your feelings, Abhishek, about the baseball?
Yeah, I'll be blunt about it. It's an English media hype, and I can say that with certainty now. It's more. I know they've played well. English team has played well over the past few years, and they deserve all the credit. But I don't think basketball is revolutionary or anything. It's just in the English mindsets, right? And then what Stokes has done is come ahead and changed that mindset that they can win in any situation. That is what it is. I mean, they've hyped it, and now obviously now that they've enjoyed the hype, they've got to see the lows as well for that. But yeah, I mean, the series in general was really closely fought. I mean, scoreline really wouldn't suggest that. It's like the 2018 India series, India v England in England, where Sam Curran actually literally destroyed us single-handedly in almost 3 or 4 tests. So that's how it felt. But yeah, by the end of the fifth test, England had the departure lounge syndrome, right? They really wanted to go back home now. So yeah.
So coming, let's come to the batsmen. Top three batsmen I would like to discuss. So first will always be like, let's start with the third one. So third one, I want to discuss about Zach Crawley. So the guy played really well. Whenever he's on the crease, it looks like that England's gonna score 400 in a day.
Exactly.
But the problem I felt was like there were no conversions. Conversion rate was really poor when it comes to Zach Crawley. He has got out like in his career, he's got out like in 70s and 80s like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
So, that's the problem. Like, there is a time in test when you feel tired, and that's the real test that you should not go for like, half-hearted shots, and you should, complete your shots and, take the inning longer, wait for the break. You'll get the break, and then you can again, rebuild your innings. So, Karan, what do you feel about Zach Crawley? Like, he was the top batsman for England, right?
And Alex and I were talking about this as well. I think he's the most impressive English batsman throughout the series. I loved his reach, how he plays based on the merit of the ball. But you can say it luck, or as you mentioned, it's like lack of concentration or what, because Test cricket is when you're batting at the top level, you have to be in the game all the time. So maybe it is that, but yeah, for me he was definitely one of the batsmen in this whole series to look out for. And the way his technique looks, I think he will do well in the test arena for a longer time. So I think he's a very good find for England, and he has done that, consistently shown that why he's important for this squad. So, and he is the highest run getter for England as well this series, so that shows.
How about you,
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I think I'm really impressed with Crawley. I think he had a very good Ashes. He had that 180 in the Ashes and just looked unstoppable. And I think he's a really exciting player. And actually, it's good to have a top order that set a really good foundation for the rest of the innings. I mean, we'll probably talk about England's middle order, which I think failed pretty miserably in the series. But it's pretty refreshing though to have a pair of openers that you think will probably get you to more than 50 without losing their wicket. It doesn't sound like it's a big number, but I think England really struggled to find a couple of openers after Alistair Cook that could really lay the foundations. And so I think we've really landed on two good players in Duckett and Crawley that start off pretty aggressively, and they do lay a perfect foundation for the middle order, which has kind of collapsed, like crazily in this series. And so, yeah, absolutely no complaints about Crawley, Duckett as well. It's just as you start to get down the order, not many runs came in. But yeah, in terms of Crawley, really impressed with the guy, and I think he'll start to play more ODIs as well. Actually, he just looks like the kind of guy who's got transferable skills between red ball and white ball.
Yeah.
Very, very good point mentioned about Alistair Cook, and I shared it with you guys on Insta as well. So last time England beat India, Alistair Cook scored 3 centuries. Last time England beat Australia in Australia under Ashes, Cook scored 3 centuries.
Yeah.
He was the different
What a player.
Legend, man.
But
legend.
are you, Alex, are you satisfied with the Zach Crawley's like 70s and 81 knocks?
Yeah, it does seem to be a thing where he gets to 50, and you're right, he falls a lot between 60 and 80, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think he definitely deserved a century in this series, and we'll see. Look, hopefully it doesn't develop into like a long-term thing, but we'll see. I think his average was pretty good. Average was over 40. You're right, it would have been great to see some conversions into centuries, but look, he got the most runs for an English player. Don't want to be too harsh on him. Let's just see. Hopefully he can convert in the future.
No, I agree with that. But the point I was coming to is, but you have to understand that Zach Crawley gets the best condition to bat as well, right? He's batting with the new ball, and in India, new ball is not doing as much as it does in England, right? So that's why I felt he was getting the right time. That the collapse we are discussing, that's a different thing, but still, he was getting the best time. And when he's settled. When you throw away wickets, it's gonna be bad on the players who are coming in too. Because when they are watching Zach Crawley, they are thinking, we'll go and we'll also smack,
Yeah,
and then the pitch is different. The
yeah.
ball is older and it doesn't go. So
Yeah.
Abhishek, what you have some good words for Zach Crawley?
Yeah, no, I mean he was good, and to be honest, he did look the most dangerous of the English batters, right? So whenever they were out there, we it was like first 10 overs, you'd feel okay, they're gonna run away with the game, and then when you sleep and wake up, and it's a whole different thing altogether,
Yeah.
right? So
India are batting. Yeah.
exactly, and that's how it's been. But I think he's had an amazing tour. I think he was on the previous tour as well, and didn't quite succeed. So which shows that he has changed his game and made some modifications, and that's what usually you look in a player, right? So they were able to modify the game and to succeed at a place where you've miserably failed before, like three and a half years before, which is speaks volumes about the person.
So the next batsman we're going to discuss, I'm not going to let anyone speak. First guy will be Karan because he was the one who was behind this guy, Shubman Gill. And after first test, he was looking a bit dicey. He was in double mind, and people have started. Obviously, Indian media also too is crap sometimes, and
Yeah,
they have started questioning about him and Iyer, and they put Iyer and him in the same bracket. That's an
yeah,
insult
which
to
is
player like Shubman Gill. So
yeah.
Karan, go ahead, man. What do you have to say like for Shubman Gill?
No, very happy. The reason, and I'm defending him since World Cup. Unfortunate thing happened. He got, dengue fever or something like that, malaria or whatever, and he couldn't start the World Cup. But when he came back, he was looking decent, right? Sometimes you see a player and you know that this player has something in it, and that's what this guy always show gives you. So when he was not performing, I knew one thing, that he has all the capabilities to succeed at the top level, especially in Test cricket as well. Yes, he had some, sometimes on spin he plays some lazy shots and all, which we have seen in previously, but I think he has come back really well. He found his, what you want to call like more right. So he
Yeah.
found that, and I think the Ranchi test gave him a lot of confidence as well, because India were in a very difficult position, and he came back and he won us the game. And then last match, if you saw him bat, it was that,
This,
Shubham
uh,
Gill we all got mesmerized with the way he was batting, and especially those sixes to Anderson. Whoa, I like, who has that? So yeah, man, this guy, I think he's here to stay, and he and Jaiswal will be the ones, carrying India's bat in the long run in all formats, I would say.
yeah, to sum it up, I guess for Gill is like, that saying is like absolutely true. Form is temporary, class is permanent. And
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
thing. So what do you, Abhishek, Shubman Gill?
Yeah, I know, and I was critical of him, and only for the part that he shouldn't have moved to number three. I don't know. I'm still not 100% confident of his swing playing skills. Again, we'll see to that when we get there. But the major difference from the first and the last four tests was his intent. When he started to find, and he absolutely looked clueless in the second test and first innings against Anderson, and that's when he edged one, and then I think he got caught out his slip. After that, he changed his intent. He showed intent, and that's where the thing changed, which is really good. That's what you're looking at, right? And then it gave him an opportunity to rethink, make sure that he got his mojo back, and then amazing. I mean, really, I'm still not confident of him playing at number three in foreign tours, but that's okay. We'll enjoy while
Yeah, but
he
that will
has.
be a discussion for a later thing, right? Like
Yeah,
let's celebrate this right now. And moreover, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but the most critical analysis I heard of Shubman Gill was by his father himself. So
yes,
he was in the interview. In the interview, also he was telling the problem was he was doing what like the he said the strengths of Shubman Gill is like he's very still when he's playing pacers and he
yes,
moves his feet when he's playing spinners. And he was saying that he was doing the opposite. You see the first three innings of this
exactly.
series,
Yeah,
he's walking towards Anderson, right? And Anderson is like experienced enough, so he was getting edge. And with spinners, he was staying on the back foot. Whereas from the fourth innings of second test, he never looked it back. He was just
exactly.
coming out, smashing and hitting them over deep mid wicket, sweeping them. So I guess that changed. So Alex, what have you like? What did you observe about Shubman Gill? How the first three innings were, and then the later 6 innings.
Yeah, I found it interesting because I remember after the first test when India went 1-0 down, I did see a lot of people calling for him to maybe be even removed from the test 11, which I saw some people saying that, and I was like, well, let's give it a bit more time. But yeah, him and Shreyas were definitely like both in the firing line, weren't they? Which I thought was a bit of an overreaction, and look, he came back really, really well. 200s, 250s, two ducks as well. Obviously, that was kind of towards the start of the series. But yeah, it looks like Curran is definitely a big fan of him. We'll see which is his best position. Curran, I think you've said his best position is maybe not at 3, and it might change in the future. You think?
Which Curran is the bigger fan? Tom Curran or Sam Curran is a fan of Shubman Gill?
Yeah. No, I think I actually believe top order is his position just because he opens in the white ball as well. But Giri's point is right as well that when you go to England or New Zealand, those are the areas where he has to prove himself that he can play those swinging red balls. But that's
Yeah.
as Kush says, that's
But
a
he has proved
discussion for
himself in
some other
Australia.
time.
He has proved
For
himself in
sure.
Australia, so he's not like a mug with a bat. So he
Right.
has played in foreign conditions. Like everybody talk about Rishabh Pant about that famous Gaba victory, but everybody forgets that he was the one who scored.
Exactly.
Maybe
19, yeah.
after when Gill retires, he will become Gambhir and he will ask for that credit everywhere that I scored 92. Now we come to the Jaiswal, man. Okay. I told Karan when you guys put a bet on that who will score the highest, I told him that you should have picked Jaiswal. I know this guy is gonna score big.
Yeah.
And see, everybody, all of us know that what he did and all that stuff. But one innings I watched live and thoroughly, which I enjoyed the most, was when he started opening. He was like 40 balls and 7 runs.
7
In the
runs.
next
Third test
50
for
balls, in the next 50 balls, he scored 80 runs and he smacked everyone. And same thing happened when he crossed 100 the next day because he got like a
back
cramp or
injury.
something, back injury. And then he came next day from 120 to 150. He took like 45, 50 balls and then he started smacking everyone. He smacked Anderson for 3 sixes, then he smacked
Yeah.
Root for 2 sixes. So, this shows that there is no particular way to play. Like, I've seen this. I enjoy Bazball. Like, whenever England is playing test, I enjoy that. We watched the Ashes. I guess Ashes was one of the most entertaining test series. But the point is, if you are not winning it, sooner or later, people will, stop discussing about Bazball because they will say that you are doing wrong things. Ultimate aim is to win, not to provide entertainment. So I guess that's what Jaiswal did very best. He knew it that when is the time to take charge, and he knew it like when you should just lay back, and this is a testing period of a test. So, Alex, do you agree with this? Like the
Yeah, I
way
mean, yeah, he scored, I think, more sixes than the entire England team combined. I don't know if that changed in the last test, but certainly by the fourth test, he'd scored more than the entire England team. Crazy, crazy hitting. And it had just become a bit of a routine where I'd go to bed, to maybe check the score if I woke up in the middle of the night and he was still batting and still batting and still batting. And I think to score 2 double hundreds is absolutely crazy. I think he scored only Sunil Gavaskar has scored more runs in a test series than him, I think. And it's just crazy for such a young guy who's got such a good backstory as well, from humble beginnings, has really risen through the ranks and earned his place. It's just great to see. Relatively new to test cricket as well, right? So it's just, unbelievable start to his test career. Glad we don't have to bowl him for a while because he was just dishing out punishment to everybody. And what a player.
Abhishek.
Yeah, no, I'm not even impressed by his six hitting, but the 40 ball 7, which shows he has the temperament to survive, right? And that's what Test cricket is about. So obviously, people speak highly of him. We've seen him in IPL, we've seen him in the T20 cricket, and we've seen him grow through the ranks. A heavy, prolific scorer in Ranji Trophy as well. So yeah, no, I think we would be falling short of superlatives for him if we continue to describe him. But he's a legend, and I sincerely hope he's the go-to 3 format player that we are looking for after Kohli and Rohit. So him and Gill are definitely our hope for the future.
Karan, what about Jaiswal? You still regret you didn't pick him?
Bro, and Alex knows when we were putting down our bets, I had Jaiswal as individual highest score,
Crossed him
and then I
out.
crossed him out and said Gil because of that
I guess
emotion.
he got
But I'm
offended.
still
Jaiswal got
repenting.
offended.
Well, he won that bet though. You won that bet, KD. Tell him why you won the bet.
So,
I was
so we had
robbed.
a, so we had another. So he didn't pick Jaiswal. I had Shubham Gill, and then he picked Virat Kohli, and then he had if Virat Kohli doesn't play, then KL Rahul is my backup.
I was robbed.
So that was a top scorer bet, right? In the series.
It's,
Yeah.
Who
No,
will
yeah.
it was
score the top scorer?
So
highest
so
highest individual score. Yeah.
Yeah.
so that
No,
was an easy win for
and
me on that one.
then after batting, I guess it should be like unfair if we say that we matched equally with England because our trio of spinners were like really experienced, more experienced than as compared to English spinners. So I won't say that England was lacking something because pretty much they lost Jack Leach after first test. And in the first test itself, I saw that the Indians were giving proper respect to Jack Leach. So as soon as Jack Leach was gone, I didn't see like these youngsters who are playing their first or second test. They can challenge the likes of Ashwin, Kuldeep, and then Jadeja. So I found it like only that part of battle I found it like a bit unfair for England. But they like I don't know Ben Stokes picked Shoaib Bashir as if like he's going to take like 30 wickets, 40 wickets, but nothing happened after one or two tests. They neutralize every bowler. But now what I want to like bring is like one bowler if I want to talk about for India is Jasprit Bumrah.
Of course.
Like he was the one because I still felt that we have just Bumrah and the other ones because Shami was not there obviously. So I thought like other still Siraj is still younger and all. And I thought that Wood and Anderson is like a deadly combo as compared to just only Bumrah. But man, Jasprit Bumrah, I don't know what kind of beast he is. That whenever he's fit, I don't think any bowler is at present any bowler is better than Jasprit Bumrah when he's 100% fit. So do you guys agree with this? Alex, I would like you to start.
Yeah, what a scary bowler. What was really impressive was he kept on knocking over Joe Root as well, which meant that Joe Root just could not get going in this series. Joe Root would, until the back end of the series, actually underperformed quite a lot. I know he had a good 100 and his last 84 in the last test was pretty good, but yeah, it was just crazy. We just had no answer to Bumrah at all. You guys could rest him. I thought that in the fourth test we'd have a chance because he was rested, but then other people stepped up as well. But I guess just on the topic of the bowling there, I think you were maybe a little bit unfair to these English novice spinners. Hartley ended up with 22 wickets, and Bashir, who came into this with like 10 first-class wickets, ended up with 17 in just 3 tests. So actually, I don't feel obviously that there's a massive gulf in quality, but actually I feel like they did a pretty good effort. But yeah, when you look down the list of wicket takers from India, Ashwin 26, Bumrah 19 in only 4 tests. Kuldeep really performed well at the end, 19 wickets. Jadeja 19. Yeah, you can't compete with that, can you?
Yeah, I guess that was the thing. Like the impact Bumrah had, that's
Yeah.
a different thing. Like we can say if Bumrah would have taken like 12 wickets, I would still say that if in all 4 tests he's got Joe Root out 8 times, it's enough. It's more
Yeah.
than enough. And there's a funny thing going on in my office too. Like I had my friend and I was telling him that if you want to bet in the fourth test when I knew Bumrah is rested, I'm like bet on Joe Root's 100. He will score 100 in this test, and then in the fifth one again he won't score because Bumrah will be back. Because it's not like he's getting out to Bumrah, but he knows that Bumrah is gonna come. I'm gonna take some chances, and then he gets out on other bowlers too. So Karan, what do you want to say about Bumrah?
I'm see, I am definitely
Mumbai
hands
Indians
down.
bowler. Just want to let you know.
Hands down, Bumrah, like you can talk about this guy on and on and on. But I kind of agree with Alex on this thing. You have to see, everybody will talk about Ashwin, Bumrah, and let's say even Jadeja as well, because these are the ones who know who will trouble the batsman and everything. But I actually want to talk about 2 guys, which is Kuldeep Yadav and Shoaib Bashir. I think they both bowled really well. Kuldeep version 2.0, which everybody is calling him, is amazing. The way he has come out, and especially he has troubled, Ben Stokes like anything. Ben Stokes was not able to read this guy. I think Kuldeep is one of my top picks from India, and Shoaib Bashir, hands down, an inexperienced guy coming to a tough tour where you know that these people who play in these conditions, Indian batsmen, gonna go against you. First over, Jaiswal hits him for like three sixes, and coming back and taking 17 wickets in 3 matches is commendable. I really hope these guys do get chances in their counties, which is again a very tricky situation for them. But you have to give credit to Shoaib Bashir and especially Kuldeep Yadav. But come on, Bumrah, Ashwin, these guys will always trouble you irrespective of the pitches they play on. So that's my take on it.
Abhishek?
Yeah, I mean, Bumrah is a game changer, man. That's as simple as that. As long as it's not a knockout game, he's a game changer, right? So that's that. But I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of Bumrah, and he was definitely the game changer in what I think there was a partnership which was going really well, and he like dismissed Ollie Pope with a Yorker, and he just dismissed somebody else with that, and you can bet on him. I mean, that's even if he takes a one wicket in a match, you'll bet on him that he would have had a game changing spell which would have allowed others to take wickets. So yeah, I mean, superlatives are short for Bumrah as well.
Okay, so now I guess let's pick like one just I got this idea from Karan because he said that he's gonna talk about Kuldeep and the way. So I just want to pick an instance from the Test series, and then you found out like the most important one, right? I'll pick my first. Okay, okay, go. No, go ahead if you want.
Yeah, I will. It was the reverse sweep from Joe Root when the English collapse has started. That was the moment they lost the Test series. That was actually stupid.
Okay, that's your thing. For me, the best performance of the Test, or where I think the series changed, it was Dhruv Jurel's 90.
Absolutely.
I find that inning was the best inning of this whole Test series. The reason being, he was on his debut, man, and we understand, even till now, Karan, me and you play regular 50-over cricket and all. Still, we are nervous before the game. That's an international game, and he's debuting, and then he scores 90, and with that partnership with Kuldeep, I guess we managed to win the series. Because fifth Test, England didn't show up. I can tell you that.
Right.
But
Right.
fourth Test, they showed up to fight, and they pretty much put India on back foot after scoring 300, Root scoring 100. I guess that was the moment that we won the series. We played well, obviously throughout the series. We played well. Like first Test we lost, but we still were dominating.
Yes.
That Test too, till Oily Pope happened. So Alex, for you,
Well, a key moment in the
one
series.
knock, one bowling spell, or something like that. Anything.
Yeah, well, it's tough to call out a key moment for England in the series just because we lost 4-1, right? There are obviously a lot of moments in which we lost the game. I think one thing that stands out to me, I was talking to Curran about this before. So I think Ollie Pope hit probably one of the best overseas knocks in India, maybe ever. I've only been watching cricket for, since
You were betting about 10,
2000.
20, 30 runs.
Yeah. But
And you were saying he's going to score under 10.
well, yeah, there you go. That's the thing with Ollie Pope.
We were watching
Yeah,
that game together.
we were watching it together, but the thing with Ollie Pope is he always starts very, very nervous, and I think if he doesn't get out, he goes on to make a big score. But the shots that he was playing, really helped win the game for England, and it was just amazing that you've got a number 3 who's able to steer an innings like that. So to go from that, then if you watch his next innings, it was like he'd never played cricket before, like very nervous. And so I think the key thing here is no England players could get a good score and then kind of continue any form throughout the series. So I think I saw something that said of the guys that hit 100 for England, no one really made over 50 until Joe Root then hit it in the last series. And so no one seemed to be able to just have regular form. It was like they'd get a good score and then just kind of drop down, and that was the challenge. I think like Ollie Pope as an example, amazing innings, and then just I don't know. It was like that innings didn't happen. He was back to where he started. And it was a bit frustrating, really. But maybe if we had a bit more like continuous form throughout the series, then maybe we could have put on more runs, put a little bit more pressure on you guys. But it just didn't happen.
Karan, for you,
Um,
one.
I think Bumrah's innings in the Bumrah's bowling in the second match.
Yeah,
India got like 300 something, and England started really well.
Yeah.
And then Bumrah came, and I think he took like what 5 or 6 wickets.
That
I think
one
that
yeah,
was
was
reverse sweep.
when ball and yeah, that one only, and then ball started reverse swinging, and that guy was
he bowled.
unplayable.
Yeah, he bowled oily pope.
So for me, that was a very good turning point, and I think that particular test gave us a lot of confidence as well. So I wanna take that, and it was not as if like that pitch was good for pacers. It's just that the ball started reversing, and he used that to his advantage and bowled really well. And him coming on top of everybody like spinners and taking more wickets was a highlight for me on that on in that one.
Yeah, so we can talk about this, like cricket fanatics like us, we can talk for like days and all. But I guess our sponsor Mukesh Ambani won't be happy with that. So so I guess just to wrap it up in short, one thing I wanted to touch base, but I guess it will be a bit longer. But like I didn't expect like Stokes and Root gonna be like so short in performance when it comes to 5 test series. So I expected more out of Stokes and especially Joe Root. Like there was a time in the third test when Jaiswal was hitting them here like sixes after sixes. Ravi Shastri was saying, I never thought in a series of like 5 tests, in the third test, Joe Root's overs are more than his runs.
Yeah.
So, that sums up. And for like, next 2-3 minutes, I want everybody like, to speak about what I think is going to be the next impossible record. That's like 700 wickets of Jimmy Anderson playing 22 years test cricket and still bowling like over 135. Still, he bowls like 135. So what do you feel? I think Alex, you should go up first because you have seen Jimmy like,
Yeah,
up close.
Jimmy. Yeah, so 700's crazy, isn't it? He just keeps going. Yeah, I think he made his debut in 2002 or 2003, and he just keeps going. So one thing to say is obviously he's played a lot more matches than the other guys that have taken similar wickets, right? But I don't think that's something that should be used to discredit him. It should be the opposite. It should be, how has this guy kept himself so fit, such a dedicated professional? It must have one of the most efficient actions ever, just because otherwise, like we see with Bumrah getting injured all the time, right, with his unorthodox action. Just to last that long, just absolutely amazing. It's I think he's probably England's best ever bowler. Don't want to get into comparisons with like McGrath and other people because you can argue they were kind of more dangerous maybe, but to have someone that's taken 700 wickets as a pacer is just amazing. I can't see it happening again. With the future of tests, maybe they'll play fewer tests in a year. So actually, I think it'll be impossible for someone to play that long. But yeah, what a player, and I think he's respected across the world as well, right? Especially by you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. Imagine our cricket god Sachin Tendulkar is congratulating him with a picture of him getting bowled on Jimmy Anderson.
Right.
So
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like the respect is because fast bowling is a very difficult art. It's not like bowling spin because people will say that he has played more tests, but you have to understand Murli and Shane Warne, they took like in a series of 3 tests, they used to take like 35, 40 wickets in India and Sri Lanka. That's
Yeah.
like turning square. But Jimmy didn't have those conditions. Outside England, he doesn't have those conditions. So, Abhishek, what do you feel?
No, he's the greatest of all times. I mean, and only with the fact that he's 41 and still going strong, I think I I rate him above everybody else in terms of the current the older lot. And he's impeccable. I mean, he can land those balls exactly at the same spot day in day out, and he's a legend of the game. So yeah.
Karan?
Yeah, no. Giri mentioned like at the age of 41, he's still going. I was listening to Nasir, and Nasir said the same thing. He's like after Ashes, because Anderson didn't perform well in the Ashes. he was talking with Anderson, and Anderson is talk at the age of 41 talking about, oh, I have to be more, I have to run fast when I'm taking my run up, and I have to build that stamina to have quick overs and everything. And he literally worked on that. If you see, as Alex mentioned or you mentioned, that he's still bowling above 135 at this age, so that means that guy puts in the work and he means business. So that shows that why he has that longevity and why he's still there. And I think the next he's eyeing that Shane Warne record of 708, and
Yeah.
he should reach it very soon. So cheers to that guy and respect.
He's like a perfect brand for, especially youngsters, that you need to understand that Test cricket is the real cricket. This guy left ODI cricket. He had a lot of ODI cricket in him,
Yeah,
especially like in English
The,
conditions and
the
all. But
most, the most for
yeah,
England.
yeah, but he made sure that he's gonna play Test cricket, and that was his priority. He didn't play any T20 leagues or something like that. But that's the
yeah.
point. The players who play like T20 leagues, 7, 8 T20 leagues in a year, they won't be remembered. But Jimmy will always be remembered.
Always.
Same for Stuart Broad as well.
Mm.
He
Yeah,
left white ball cricket because he wanted to prioritize red ball.
Broad was announced as, because that time he used to bat really well. He was
Right.
announced as the next T20 captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after like 1 or 2 series, he just dropped everything and he just started playing Test cricket.
Respect.
So, respect for these guys. Like, these guys are giving so much emphasis on, and it's good. Like, now BCCI has also put contracts and bonuses
Yeah.
and everything, so that Test cricket should be prioritized. That's
Yeah.
True.
the best thing of cricket, because being a cricket fanatic, we all know that Test cricket is a real cricket. When the time changes, when the condition changes, when the ball spins, and then there's a new ball after 80 overs. So this is something we just love. So I guess let's wrap this up. India, I think England will be ready whenever India is going to tour England. England will be ready with their Bazball. I guess that might work in England, but till that time, I guess England has very crucial series now with Pakistan. I guess they're playing
I don't,
Pakistan.
I don't know. I looked at who we're playing for the rest of the year, and it's like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Ireland or something.
But
So
4 months of break before they go back to Test cricket, though.
Yeah, and India is going to go down and
Yeah, Australia.
Australia.
yeah, looking forward to
So I
that.
guess, yeah,
For sure.
Aussies will be gearing up too, because they had a big victory against New Zealand last night.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that
yeah.
was crazy too. So
Yeah.
I guess let's wrap that up. So that was for Cricbucks, and soon we'll be back soon, because now we're gonna start our IPL previews, and then we're gonna start.
RCB.
We'll
RCB.
start the first team we're gonna discuss is RCB, because that will be the first team to get out of the tournament, like as usual, and it's Karan's choice, so obviously. So, but Alex, do you have any IPL favorite?
No, I don't. I saw that Phil Salt was called up there instead of Jason Roy, so interested to see how.
Alex is supporting DC. His boy is there now.
Yeah, Harry Brooks.
Harry Brook
Harry
is in
Brook.
DC.
Yeah, bro, how's Harry Brook? Is he feeling good now?
I don't know. I don't know. We
Is
haven't
he
heard from
coming
him.
for the IPL? That's a bigger question.
I
I
don't
guess.
know. No idea. Haven't heard from him. Hope so. Hope so. But
Okay. I know Alex gonna support DC and that's Abhishek's team. Alex,
Yeah.
for
let's
our
go,
thing,
Abhishek.
that's Abhishek's team. Okay, so
Yeah.
signing off.